Thank you everyone for coming from all around the state, up from the city and Brooklyn and elsewhere. And thank you everyone standing here for making the trip up. It's fantastic, and it shows how much interest there is in today's extremely important case, both for the state of New York and the Atlantic Yards project in Brooklyn. My name is Daniel Goldstein. I am the lead plaintiff on the case. There are 9 plaintiffs on the case. There are homeowners, there are residential tenants, there are business owners and business tenants, which pretty much covers all the types of ownership we have available to us in New York State, which means that the abuse of eminent domain pretty much affects everyone in New York State. One of the other plaintiffs is David Sheets on my left, who lives pretty much right where the arena would go, as do I. Another plaintiff with us today is Henry Weinstein, who owns a commercial property on the other end of the project site. The other plaintiffs are back in Brooklyn. It's tough to be out here today in the middle of the week up in Albany when you're busy in Brooklyn, but they are with us absolutely in spirit. And then everyone else you see here, for the most part, pretty much everyone are residents of Brooklyn, New York, and they have been involved in the 6-year-long fight against the Atlantic Yards project, its abuse of eminent domain, and all of its other abuses. As you know, the case that will be argued at 2 o'clock today is about the issue of public use and eminent domain in New York State, and you will see what will be a very compelling argument about important issues about what New York State's Constitution means when it talks about public use justifying the seizure of people's properties. There will also be a discussion, I'm sure, of what blight means in the year 2009 in New York State versus what it has meant over a long part of New York State's history. Those will be the big issues discussed today, along with what is economic development versus public use. Is economic development a public use? Those are the overarching issues that will be discussed today. We expect to win this lawsuit. We know that we are right on the law, and we know that when we do win, it will be a huge victory, not just for us in Brooklyn, not just for the homeowners, but everyone who cares about justice and adherence to the law in New York State.
I want to thank my constituents for coming up here today. This is an extremely important case that is before the Court of Appeals, and we think that this is the only right thing to do. We have a situation where the state of New York is participating in actually abusing the law, eminent domain, because this project is not a public use, essentially, to throw people out, including this baby, who is the baby of Dan Goldstein here and his wife. They will be removed for the purpose of having a stadium, a ball stadium, which will be I think the 4th ball stadium in the city of New York. There is no need for that kind of facility, and furthermore, it advances the economic interest of a developer. It is not in the interest of the people in the city of New York. This really is the worst possible example of how government can interfere with the quality of life of people in our state. We must fix this. But today we hope that and we anticipate that the court will rule on the side of the people of the state of New York. So we thank you for coming up here, and these people are my constituents, and I am indeed angry that we have to fight this kind of fight in order for people to keep their homes. So I thank you, and we look forward to a decision on behalf of the people.
We're going to hear from David Sheets, who, as I said, is a tenant who lives on Dean Street in Brooklyn, which is precisely where the arena that the senator discussed would be. David, along with myself and other plaintiffs, have been dealing with this cloud of eminent domain hanging over our heads for the past 6 years. It's something that angers us a great deal, and it's something that we've had to really grapple with for a long time. So we're very pleased that we're going to have a very civilized argument about it today in the courthouse. David.
I would also like to say that I'm very glad that everyone is here. This is a matter of principle. I am a renter. I am not a homeowner. I can go find another apartment. That is not the point. What is happening is unethical. It has been deceitful. People have been lied to. Segments of the community have been pitted against other segments of the community where that had not been the case before. It's shameful. This is certainly not a public benefit. People have been fighting each other for years and have been lied to. That is not a public benefit. People hide behind the argument that, well, takings clauses are worded that the government can step in and take because property owners are just compensated. It's kind of hard to believe that in a city of 8.5 million people, where more than 3/4 of the population rents, it somehow falls through the cracks and nobody thinks about the fact that we don't own anything. We shouldn't have to live like this. We didn't do anything to deserve this. So it's not a matter of not in my backyard. It's a matter of not in my bathroom, in my kitchen, and my living room. We live there. Those are our homes. Living in my neighborhood was like living in a small town. People had lived there for decades. And families that had lived upstairs, downstairs, right across the hall from each other, they had no choice but to move miles away, disperse, anywhere they could afford to relocate. The whole thing, and for a basketball arena, it's shameful. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for showing up today. This is a very important issue, and I guess I'm going to keep my statement short. I can't really understand why my government is allowing a private developer to seize my property and why the Empire State Development Corporation has acted as a tool of the developer. Thank you.